This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Hello, Dumela, and welcome to another brilliant episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. You're going to love this one, guys. I have just a guest to energize, inspire, and to enthuse you. We're going to talk about all things having to do with peak performance. And I have a peak performance coach who's been at this business for a couple of decades almost. We'll find out more when we discuss. But let me just ask you a favor before we get into this, that you strike that like button, that notification bell. But most importantly, guys, we need you to strike that subscribe button. We really need your help, guys, to grow this platform. My guest is from an exciting place. It's from outside Botswana, in a place called Nigeria. You're going to just love him. Over to you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm very grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Shogo. I'm a peak performance coach. I'm a global trainer. I also serve as personal advisor to captains of industries, blue chip industries, and high-performing people. I've done this for 17 years.
Yes, I was right. I was guessing a couple of decades.
Yeah. I'm also an emotional intelligence certified coach from the US.
Okay, this is good stuff. Well, let's go to where it started. Maybe you can touch on your academic background a little bit.
Okay. Okay. So I went to primary school.
Not that far.
I went to primary school. I went to secondary school. I went to university.
Which university?
It's called Ogun State University, and I studied medicine.
Oh.
Yeah. Then I pivoted. I completed it, by the way. My dad is a medical doctor, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the firstborn out of 4. We're all science students. We're all in the science field. So I've always loved to teach. I've always loved to help people. I've always loved to help people connect the dots.
Yes.
Then there's something I noticed in my university days. People come to me naturally for advice. So after school, I felt I needed to take it to the next level. So I took certification courses. Because I know talent is not enough in the marketplace. If you're listening to us right now, I need you to know talent is not enough in the marketplace. You need to get skilled. Skill is the refined form of talent. Skill commands higher price in the marketplace. So it's very important, whatever you want to do in life, whether you need to apprentice somewhere, you need to go to school, please go to school. Talent is not enough. If you're a singer, you have the talent of singing, but there are music institution. You can get a voice coach, someone to fine-tune you and sharpen, smoothen the rough edges. It will make you command better price in the marketplace.
Why did you decide to discard the stethoscope, so to speak?
Well, like I said, I didn't choose this. This chose me. So there's a difference between accomplishment and fulfillment. You can be accomplished but not fulfilled. That is why we get to see some wealthy people across the world. They have the duplexes of this world that we all desire. They have the Bentleys, they have the Rolls Royces, and yet they commit suicide. They have good family, but there's a vacuum. There's something somewhere inside them that is not making them fulfilled. So life becomes meaningless. So for me, doing this gives me, and back then gave me, more fulfillment. So
it gives you both accomplishment and fulfillment.
And fulfillment, actually, right now, yes, both. The people that enjoy the best of their lives are people that are accomplished and fulfilled. You know, it has been said that the highest number of heart attacks happens on Monday mornings because a lot of people are going to a job that they don't like.
That's so sad.
It's so sad.
Maybe that's why I don't come to work on Monday. I hope
no,
it works.
so for people listening to us, we need to also we need to also be able to clarify statements before people say, oh, Mogobe said this. It doesn't go to work on Monday. Over the years, you have paid your dues. You didn't start at your young age, at your young stage in career. You didn't stop going to work on Mondays. But right now, you have paid dues. You have system and processes running the work. Why stress yourself? So Monday, you can afford to take a break off. I hope I'm correct.
You are 120% correct. I don't know how you knew that, but it's true. All right. Now, let's just go back to the pivot. What did you do initially, and how difficult was it to change from one career to another?
So I'll call it career transition. A lot of people are doing what is probably paying their bills now, but they don't like it, but they want to do something else. So my advice usually is create an exit strategy. So if you want to transition from one thing to the other, forgive my statement, it is foolishness to just leave what is paying your bills to transition into the unknown. So the wisdom I applied was I was doing it as a side gig until the side gig could afford to pay my salary, could afford to sustain my lifestyle.
Wow.
So that was when I decided to
so were you a doctor for a time?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
all
I
right.
did.
And doctors are normally very busy, so people will tell you that they are knock off late. I don't have time for anything
No,
else.
you don't have
So
time
how did
for
you
anything.
manage that challenge?
All right. What I realized is passion is a fuel that fires the fire within you. When you're truthfully passionate for anything, you will create time for it. It will amaze you. There are doctors that party. There are doctors that goes to beer parlor, beer pub. So how do they find the time? Because they're passionate about it.
Okay.
So whatever you're truthfully passionate about, time is not an excuse. You will always find time.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the key performance, the peak performance work that you do. Can you explain to us how it works?
All right, so peak performance, I'm a peak performance coach. And what I do is I help organizations and individuals amplify their result. I help organizations improve their workplace effectiveness. So basically, soft skills, emotional intelligence in the workplace, communication, team building, team understanding how effective teams work. And there are times in the workplace we have some member of staff that are becoming bad egg. Who does the organization?
There's complainers and
so it's
sick,
it's a peak performance coach that handles such individual because they are competently good, but attitude-wise they are not okay. So we need to strike a balance between attitude and performance. So I do that for organizations. I've consulted for banks, I've consulted for telecoms, I've consulted in the oil and gas industry, I've consulted for fashion, I've consulted for real estate industry, just name it. And also I consult for individuals. I offer one-on-one coaching for people that want to improve their performance, for people that want to become a better version of themselves. Yes, I do that, and I've done that.
And you mentioned 17 years.
Yes.
How has been the ride over these 17
years?
The
ride has been awesome, but with every ride, there are bumps, there are hills, there are valleys. But what keeps you going, it's your passion. And also, I realize that people give up on their goals because they expect the journey to reaching their goal to be smooth without challenges. It's good if you want to be a peak performer. It's good to anticipate challenges and decide how you are going to navigate it.
Yeah, that's a good place to segue into the setbacks and challenges that you encountered. There are some challenges that really land you on the floor, as it were, and there are some challenges that can be devastating, even cataclysmic. Are there any that you're willing to share?
All right.
Or maybe not so extreme.
Okay, I'm trying to look at which one should I pick. I think the one everyone can relate with was the challenge of COVID during the lockdown in 2020. My work as a trainer, my work as a peak performance coach, most times before 2020 involved me being in physical space to train, to talk, to motivate, to inspire. But COVID came, and it was as if I wasn't going to survive. But the irony of it was, during COVID, I made more money than pre-COVID. Because being current is the currency of life. Everybody was going virtual. So I had to learn how to use Zoom effectively. I had to rebrand myself and push myself and position myself that I'm still available to be reached virtually. I can still do my consulting virtually. And I got lots of jobs, even outside my country.
Wow.
So this is very important for us. We need to be able to move with times. If you are static in business, if you are static in the way you approach your career, you are going to be knocked out. That's what happened to Kodak. Kodak did not evolve during times of change. So when that change came, I quickly embraced it. You will agree with me that in 2024 right now, we still have people that are still complaining that it's because of COVID in 2020 that they are the way they are right now.
When it's more than 2 years behind us.
Yes. Then another thing I want to also mention is AQ. AQ. A for Apple. Q for Queen. AQ is adversity quotient. Adversity quotient.
Can you deal with adversity?
Yes. So how quick do you bounce back from a setback? That's also very important. I don't think it's not a spiritual gift. It's a skill.
Which you have to develop.
And you have to develop it. It can be learned. So these were part of what helped me in one of my challenges.
So do you more or less have to be like a rubber doll in terms of bouncing back?
And
what does it take to get to that level?
What does it take to at times experience, association, personal development? So experience, association, personal development. If you move with losers don't bounce back. Losers give up. Reading, when you read stories of people that have been on ground zero and they came back, it gives you a belief that you can also become.
It gives you fuel.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, you overcame that challenge. What did you say was one of the significant triumphs, even for some of your clients, that you can blow your horn about?
Oh, okay. I think the most recent one I will talk about is just 1.5 weeks ago. I addressed the Parliament of Uganda.
Wow, I saw it on Instagram.
Oh, you saw it on Instagram?
Yeah. How did you land such a beautiful gig?
Okay, so I got an official invitation to speak in another conference in Kampala. Billboards everywhere. Dr. Shogo is in town. I mean, the few people I know in Uganda, they were snapping the billboards. They were saying, "Doc, you're on billboard. You're on billboard. You are now big in Uganda." And for me, I come from a country of over 230 million people in terms of population.
It's huge. That's just in the mainland.
That's
not the diaspora, because
that's not the diaspora. Now, coming from that background, with all due respect, I will say that in most African countries, it's easy for you to grow big. It's easy for virtually the whole country to know that somebody is in town. In Nigeria, if I have billboard, I mean, people don't care. It's just a very small fragment. Yeah, it takes a lot of time before you go national.
Isn't that a two-edged thing? Because then you can argue that the population is an advantage. You have more market to deal with.
Yes, of course, we have more market to deal with. And also, it's also, it takes more work to grow national in where I'm coming from. But outside where I'm coming from, little effort, the whole country might get to know that somebody is in town.
Yeah.
So I think one way or the other, the Parliament got to know I'm in town. Then they called the the conference organizers, that we want them to come and speak to us.
Wow.
So that's a big one. Another one is each time all my clients give me a feedback that Dr. Shogo, it's because of you I got it right.
Wow.
It's because of you I did not give up. That's also a triumph that inspires me, that I'm proud of, that I celebrate at all times.
Wow. What did you leave them with? Is there anything impressive? What is your main message that you left the Parliament with that you are willing to share with the viewers?
Should I say it's a secret?
Without disclosing all the...
Okay, so I spoke on leadership because, I mean, this is the engine room that has the power to change the trajectory of the nation. So I spoke on an acronym called LEAD, LEAD. But permit me not to break it down in this podcast. Yeah. But it was something on leadership, and I spoke truth to power. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's very good. Now, a lot of people in your space package themselves as transformation coaches or inspirational coaches. You choose to use the word peak performance. Is there any subtle difference, or it's all the same?
So actually, when we look at coaching is like medicine. Because in the medical field, you have the pediatric doctor, you have the gynecologist, you have the heart surgeon, you have the orthopedic doctor, different specialization. So if you truthfully went to a coaching school, you will understand that in coaching, there are different specialty in coaching as well. So peak performance is actually a specialization in coaching. You have relationship coach, you have family coach, you have health coach, you have and so on. There are about 16 different specialization. So peak performance is actually an aspect of life coaching. And in relation to your question, transformational coach, there's no way you will go through peak performance that you won't experience it transformed.
So there is an interrelationship there.
Yes.
That is good. When you talk about leadership, just as you spoke about a while ago, the person that comes to mind is John Maxwell. Are you familiar with him, and do you come across him in your work?
John Maxwell is an amazing authority in leadership. So definitely I know John Maxwell, and he's created so much content that has inspired in the field of leadership. So if anyone is passionate about leadership, I will suggest look up John Maxwell's videos on YouTube, get his books.
Do you have a favorite quote from him? Mine is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Now, because you asked me suddenly, I can't even remember once. But I have a lot of his products. Yes.
And you've read a lot of his books, I can tell. Now, in Africa, do we have a particular guru, if you like, or a particular person of that stature that we look up to? Or the only person we have is Dr. Shogo?
In Africa, well, I mean, I won't hype any other person above myself. So I'll rather talk about myself at the moment, because I don't want to discredit other people's work while commending another person's work.
Yeah. If somebody wants to be active in this space or to be able to perform in this space, what would be your advice? What do they have to do?
What you have to do, number one, you have to have the passion. Number two, I will strongly suggest that don't just run with talent. Don't just run with information from internet. You can't run far with it. So I will say go for certification. There are a lot of certification courses online, and they're pricey. But the good thing is, for everything pricey, there's a low budget version and there's a free version. So you might want to start from the free version. Just get schooled, because there are principles of coaching, training, and yes.
Okay. And you do have online courses in that regard? In other words, do you also train leaders and coaches?
Okay, yes. I lead my independent trainings.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I lead my independent trainings cutting across leadership, emotional intelligence, sales, but it comes in the physical space, not in the digital space. So they are signature programs that I run.
Books? Tell us about your books.
I have few books. I have a book on effective networking.
Then I had brought some of them.
I think I have very few.
Yeah.
I have a book called Investment, not investment. Investment, invest in men.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Yes.
Twist.
So that's the twist.
Invest in men.
Invest in men. Investment, which talks about effective networking, because I realized that opportunities are not in places. Opportunities are in people. Money is not in places. Money is in people. So the more quality people you meet, the higher your chances of success. So that's very important. So I talked about how to network effectively, even if you're an introvert.
Wow.
In that book. Then I have another book called Thoughts of Dr. Shogo. It's a collection of my thoughts cutting across various subjects of life. Then I have Lessons from Dr. Shogo, which is life lessons schools don't teach. Let me give you one, for instance. Generally they say experience is the best teacher. But really, in my reflection time, I realized that experience is not the best teacher. Because there are things you experience, you die. And when you die, you go to the grave. And in the grave, there are no lessons. So observation is the best teacher. So some of these...
so in other words, a lot of things you can learn from reading and from studying.
Absolutely.
Those who've been there before.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
It's a cliche, but it's also a little bit of a falsehood.
Yeah, it's falsehood. Like knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. A knowledge you have and you don't apply is not powerful. This is a microphone.
Yeah.
I know it's a microphone. If I don't speak to it, then it's not powerful.
Yeah, it is useless.
So it is application of knowledge that makes it powerful. So I broke it down. Some I gave instances in that particular book, Lessons from Dr. Shogo. Then I have a novel, actually a collection of 10 stories that teaches some lesson in life. It's fiction. I have that particular one on Amazon. It's called Tales by Dr. Shogo. So these are some of the few books I've written so far.
And where does one find them?
Well, at the moment, they are not listed. Okay, they are listed. I think I have them on my website.
Okay.
drshogo.org. www.drshogo.org.
And people can access them online?
Yeah, people can access them online.
Okay. All right. You are here in Botswana, all the way from what? Lagos?
Absolutely.
And you've been here now a couple of days. Something to do with Forbes 30 under 30. Tell us about that particular
okay, this is the
event.
third year running in Botswana. I think Botswana had a 3-year contract with Forbes to host it for 3 years, and I think this is the last edition in Botswana, if I'm not mistaken. It's a conference to bring youth entrepreneurs together. And I'm going to tell anyone listening, don't be deceived by the 30 under 30. A lot of people are above 30. For me, it's a place to learn, to network, and also to share your ideas and get funding. So it's a very rich resource that I think the government of Botswana have invested in. And also, when you look at the bigger picture, like this year's edition, about 47 countries.
Wow.
Yes, represented
across the world.
Across the world, they are lodged in hotels. They pay for their food. So in turn, these businesses also pay tax to the government. So I mean, it has enriched the government in these few days. So it's a beautiful idea that the government of Botswana have decided to host it, and the program in itself is eye-opening and absolutely amazing. Master classes, keynote speeches, panel discussion, and I think it's something worthy that we should appreciate Forbes for deciding to come up with this product.
Yeah, that's great. And you came 2 years in a row. You were here last year.
Yeah, I was here last year.
Tell us about your experiences. What are the highlights?
Well, the highlight for me is the networking session. I was able to meet quality people from across Africa, and few people came actually outside Africa. That's a major takeaway for me. Then secondly, some of the entertainers that we look as entertainers, they're actually very intelligent. When they share their stories, when they share life lessons, I was able to pick things from the session. Now, this is not for me, but another highlight for me was the opportunity they gave the youth. I'm still a youth, by the way. The opportunities they gave the younger ones to pitch their ideas and seek for funding. Like this year, somebody got a paid flight from Botswana to New York, fully sponsored. I think it was the person is going for a course or something
a local artist or
a local
or entrepreneur.
Yes,
that sounds fantastic. And then of course the you as a business also applied some of what you learn here back home. Absolutely. So sometimes it's always difficult for people to see how this translates into tangible benefits.
Yeah, because
and results.
You see, most times people want instant results in life. If you grow up, you stay up. If you jump up, you come down.
Say that again. I like that.
If you grow up, you stay up. If you jump up, you come down immediately. So some of the transformations are not necessarily visible now, but in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years, in the next 3 years, you'll see a lot of budding businesses tracing their growth, tracing their idea spark to this Forbes event. So it's slow and steady.
I'll tell you why I'm asking you this. I was on radio and a lot of calls were coming through one of the local radio stations where Botswana themselves were saying, what is the use of this? The government is wasting money. Where is the benefit? And there are a lot of negative callers. So perhaps it's good to have someone like you who has
you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you. You know, also what I realized is people criticize what they don't understand. And a lot of people are quick to criticize without seeking understanding. I mean, look at the businesses that have benefited already. This year's edition had over 1,000 people. Almost all the major hotels here sold out.
Yeah, because you are staying in a lodge because the hotels are full.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who gets the money? These guys came to spend their money.
So people should look at it that broadly.
Yes, it's broad, and the financial gain is even instant.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
The transformation is gradual.
It's long term. You've also had the privilege of speaking to. I saw it on your Instagram. Speaking to large audiences. What's the biggest crowd you've addressed?
40,000.
40,000.
No, not 40,000. 40,000 was in Nigeria. At Canaan land.
I've come across. Tell us that experience, because I myself have spoken to 30,800 in Lusaka last year.
Okay.
And that freaked me out a bit. It worked out.
Okay, so I took classes in public speaking. So for me, it was a smooth sail. Then I joined Toastmasters early in my career. Toastmasters help you polish your public speaking skills. I hope that there should be Toastmaster in Botswana as well. Sometime in 2016, I spoke at Makerere Stadium in Kampala, and that was a 60,000 physical audience, and it was also streamed live on national TV. So all put together, maybe I was speaking to maybe like 500,000 people. Yeah.
How do you handle the nerves or the butterflies?
Now, the truth is, we will always have nerves, no matter how good you are as a public speaker. You have the fear, you have the jitters, especially if it is not your audience. But one thing I've learned personally is to turn my fear into fuel, not to allow my fear cripple me. So I use it as fuel to propel me. So when the jitters come, you tell yourself that I'm going to give my best. And another thing why people have jitters is speakers, public speakers. If you have not worked very well on your content, but when you're sure of your content, because confidence comes from competence.
In other words, when you've prepared.
When you've prepared well, then you are just ready to go. The initial 4-5 minutes, you have those jitters. After that 4-5 minutes, you just realize that you are flowing into.
That's been my experience as well. And do you teach that aspect as well?
Yes.
In your coaching?
Yes, I teach public speaking. As a matter of fact, politicians, I actually do personal coaching for politicians during election time in Nigeria. I do public speaking for CEO, C-suite that want to understand presentation skills as well. So I do that on a one-on-one basis.
I read a frightening statistic that there's a fear of public speaking has overtaken the fear of death.
I agree with you.
And that there are many surveys. What is the problem with that?
You know, there's a statistics that says that people would rather die than speak in front of other people. A crowd. Yeah, but I don't honestly know where the origin of that fear.
I hear that part of it is people feel as though they are naked in front of people all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like this feeling how you are.
But you know, in public speaking, like I said, training is very important. That's why I say talent without training turns to trash. Let me say that again. Talent without training turns to trash. Because when you are trained as a public speaker, you understand that you should also look your best. You have dressed very well. So that when you climb up there, you're not bothered about what you're wearing. You're bothered on, you're focusing on your content and on your audience. But if you have not learned this, that this is a skill that you need, if you are wearing an uncomfortable cloth, there's no way you'll be comfortable. You personally, you're uncomfortable. How do you expect to be comfortable in front of 10,000 people looking at you?
Yeah.
So there are skills, tits and bits, nuggets here and there, nuggets of wisdom for public speaking that you need to understand. Yeah, because if you don't understand, you can't be outstanding in anything you do.
Have you come across a situation that has embarrassed you in that setting, or one of your students that you then help them avoid, in terms of maybe being unable to get the right sort of response from the audience, or unable to maybe articulate your voice? What typically are the challenges around that?
In all honesty, I can't readily remember one. If I had, I didn't dwell on it, and I auto-deleted it in my memory. You have
auto-deleted it.
I've auto-deleted it.
It is gone. All right. In Botswana, we talk a lot about a thing called paradigm shifting, but we call it mindset change. The president 2-3 years ago gave a speech that said that us as Botswana, we need to alter our outlook and our mindset. First of all, are you familiar with that concept for us here in Botswana?
Yes, I'm familiar with it.
And what is your take on it? And what?
So my take on that is that life is inside out, not outside in. You need to work on your inside if you want your outside to be beautiful. Your life will never be positive if your mindset is negative. So you need to work on your mind. I speak to Botswana people, not the large populace, because I've not interacted with so many, but the little, they say, you know, we're in Botswana, it's a small country, there is no audience. No, you need to change your mind, because Botswana is not your playbook. The world is your catchment area.
Yes.
The whole southern region is your catchment area. And once you can change your paradigm from inside, you start seeing differently. And when you start seeing differently, you start acting differently. So don't have this landlocked mentality. That, I mean, Zambia is more landlocked than Botswana.
Yes.
Zambia is landlocked, about 9 countries around Zambia. How many in? So your case is not the worst. So I want you to think outside the box. If everybody can think outside the box, if everybody can see possibility, because I read this book that changed my life. I read it as an 18-year-old boy by Robert Schuller. Tough times never last, but tough people do.
I've read it too. It's a nice book.
That book is disruptive. That book is disruptive. So if you can read books, it will also work. Because at times, mindset doesn't change overnight. You also need to change your association intentionally. Stop moving with people that talk Botswana down. Stop moving with people that don't see opportunities in Botswana. I've been here twice and I see lots of opportunities. Why? Because I tell people that opportunities are not seen with the eyes. Opportunities are seen with the eyes. Opportunities are not seen with the eyes. Opportunities are seen with the mind. So we all need to work on our mind, fine-tune it to spot opportunities. You think Botswana is small, Botswana is not good. Do you know how many non-native that relocate into Botswana every year?
They love it and they're doing very well.
And they're doing very well. You think they're foolish. They are not.
They see the opportunities.
So we need to, and I think there should be a forum for leaders, people like you that have been there, done that, and broken that jinx. Which is why you, I'm sure, which is one of the reasons you started with this podcast. I commend you.
Thank you.
I commend you for that. So if more people can get into that space, not necessarily doing podcast, master classes, showing how you broke through. You know, the difference between Africa and the Western world is our older generation that have cracked the nuts. Most of them, they go into the grave with it because they don't teach. But in the Western world,
they don't teach, they don't write.
They don't write. But in the Western world, they will write book, they will do podcasts, they will do master classes, they document and pass it to the next generation. They go to the universities, students ask forum, and this is also a call to the educational institution to also create an avenue, a forum where people that have done well in their businesses in Botswana should come share their story with the student. It will inspire them, it will fire up their imagination, it will give them a possibility mindset. This is also very important.
Wow, I agree with that. That's what we're about. We're about empowerment. There's an expression that people like to use, paradigm shift. What is your understanding of that expression? And how do we shift those paradigms?
All right, when we look at paradigm shift, it is about moving from a way of thinking that is not profitable to a way of thinking that is profitable. But that leads us to another question. How do you know that a way is not profitable? It leads to the concept of awareness. You can't change what you are not aware of. You need to first be aware that this way of thinking is not profitable for me. But awareness is the foundation for emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, a lot of people operate in a place called unconscious incompetence. They don't know that they don't know.
Wow.
So you need someone to be able to show you.
That's the first level of consciousness, unconscious incompetence.
Yes, unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you don't know. That's the first level. If you want to gain mastery, you need to know that you are in a state of unconscious incompetence that I need to change. Because at times people get emotionally attached to their way of thinking, even though it's anti-progressive. Until somebody shows you that, oh, this is the way you should think.
Because they become comfortable with their comfort zones, so to speak. Yeah.
And nothing significant happens in your comfort zone.
Yeah. And do you have a technique for getting people to be jarred, to be shaken out of their comfort?
Yes. I mean, a major technique. I mean, a lot of people are dissatisfied. If you are dissatisfied with life, if you are dissatisfied with your career, if you are dissatisfied with your profession, if you are dissatisfied in your business, that is, you are feeling stuck in life. That's where it starts. And those are the people I help get unstuck. But we also have a category of people that they are stuck, they are dissatisfied, but they don't know that they are dissatisfied.
They're not even aware of their problem.
Those are the kind of people that probably commit suicide, they are depressed, they are in the hospital.
So when I ask you if there's a technique for sort of inducing a short, sharp shock, as it were, and getting people out of that comfort zone, what do you say?
Visualization. So, I mean, that's our imagination is one of the best gifts that the Creator has given us, that God has given us. You need to be able to visualize yourself out of where you are to where you want to be. Because you see, like I said, life is inside out, not outside in. And the beauty of visualization and imagination is there's no restriction. You need to overcome self-sabotaging thoughts. Stop telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't become this. Who told you you can't?
Yeah.
You can.
Because other people talk in terms of vision boards, and then the affirmations. Are those?
Yeah, vision board works, affirmation works, but you see, they won't work without action.
Mm-hmm.
Execution is the game changer.
Mm-hmm.
A vision board that you look at, and each time you are looking at it, you say, "Who dash monkey banana?" in Nigeria, that balance is okay. So you put an aircraft picture on your vision board, and each time you are looking at this, how can it be possible? It can't. So your thought is not in alignment with the vision board. So you need to understand the place of belief and conviction in alignment with your vision board. Okay. Affirmation is also confession. Confession without action is frustration.
Hey, that's so beautiful. I'm going to ask you to repeat that.
Confession without action is frustration.
Yeah.
So you confess something, but you go back into a place of complacency. You go back into a place of comfort. There's no way that you, because action is the proof that you believe.
Yeah. All right. There's no pill, as it were, that cures everything, or there's no silver bullet. However, around this discussion, there's the issue of alcoholism. There's the issue of drug abuse that is afflicting the African youth. Do you have a message for those who may be watching, how to guard against these challenges?
So what I'm going to tell them is, these people have dreams, by the way. They have goals. They have aspirations. But I'm saying to everyone listening to me right now that your body is the vehicle with which you pursue your aspiration. Your body is the vehicle with which you achieve your goals. If you abuse your body is going to break down, and you're not going to be able to achieve your dreams. You're not going to be able to achieve your aspiration. You won't be able to pursue effectively. So if you respect your body will also respect and take care of you. So this is very important. Look at you. I mean, you're an old man, but you look fresh. Because
I don't consider myself to be an old man.
I know somebody is going to deny it.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
it.
It's metaphorical. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, if you wear jeans and t-shirts, someone would think you're in your 30s, in your 40s. Yeah, but it's not. Simply because when you were younger, you didn't abuse your body. There are people that are just 30. You look at them, you think they are 50. They are 55 because of drugs.
Because of alcohol. That's very good.
Drugs kills dreams.
Yeah.
Please stay away from it.
Yeah. And if you compare your nation, Nigeria, and us, are there any similarities? How do you compare and contrast the two nations?
Yeah, asking me to compare 230 million with
2.5
2.5 million.
Yeah.
All right, but you see, in every African nation I've been, and trust me, I've been around a lot of countries in Africa. In every African nation I've been, most Africans, when you look at their eyes, they have this resilience. They want to become more. They want to do more.
They have hunger.
Yeah. So it cuts across every African country, but the level of hunger differs. Some, they are hungry, but they are comfortable. Now, some people are comfortable in other African countries. That comfort is supposed to be their plus. But because they are not using it to their advantage, that comfort is a minus for them. So the resilient spirit of African, the happy spirit of African, I see it across every African country I've been.
Well, I guess that's a good way of now getting to AFCTA. Are you familiar with the effort to integrate African countries, getting rid of visas, tariffs, and eventually leading to an African Union?
In all honesty, I think they should fast track this process and make it a reality. But for politics and selfish reasons of some leaders here and there, they are not speaking with one voice. The truth is, it's easier to move in Western world as an African than to move in Africa as an African. Look at, I came in from Lagos. I had to fly to, there's no direct flight to Botswana. I had to fly to Ethiopia, from Ethiopia to Zimbabwe, from Zimbabwe to Botswana. I'm not really looking forward to doing that return trip. So, I mean, I waited in Ethiopia for about 12, 13 hours. The good thing was they provided hotel. But then you want to look at the manpower that has been wasted if you're not aware as a human being. The wastage is too much. So I think it will be good if we can make it easy for us. Look at Rwanda. Rwanda has opened their country up to every African doesn't need visa to go to Rwanda.
Wow.
Oh yes. Yeah. And Rwanda did not die. Rwanda did not collapse.
They are thriving.
They are thriving. Coming to Botswana is like a camel going through the needle of yeah. But
the eye of the needle.
Yes. But we need to make these processes easy. You are importing, the levies are crazy. So when the ease of doing business is not smooth, you hold your goods and services, and the truth is no African country produces all the resources.
Yeah. My problem with the AFCTA, they are not. They are targeting, I believe, 2063. They pushed it so far, and they are targeting dates which are far instead of fast tracking it now.
Because they don't want to face the reality. And like I said, some people, some quarters here and there are profiting from the difficulty. So they don't want it to be a reality in their lifetime.
We as entrepreneurs are supposed to be disruptors. How do we disrupt? How do we get things done?
So I think this way, entrepreneurs should create an ecosystem for themselves. Because was it not Reagan, one of the U.S. presidents, that said, don't think of what your country can do for you.
John F. Kennedy.
Think of what you can do for your country. So I'm rephrasing it as Africans, don't think of what Africa can do for you. Think of what you can do for Africa. So I will really encourage entrepreneurs, business owners, experts to create an ecosystem for themselves in such a way that you make it easier within your ecosystem inside Africa, consistency. By the time it's consistent, I think this AFCTA will yield. And let's pray for good leadership at African Union level.
Let me ask you about money, because we're talking to entrepreneurs.
Good. I love talking about money.
Yes. Let's talk about money. Moolah, cash.
Hey, moolah. Yes.
Where is the moolah in this line of business, and how do we make money? Those might be watching us. How do you position yourself to have a funnel of optimization of cash and for monetization?
All right. So 3 M's of money that people need to understand. You need to learn how to make money, manage money, and multiply money. A lot of people have issues with money, including people earning good money in good institutions, because one of the things we're not taught in school is money. According to me, there are 3 things we're not taught in school. Number 1, you're not taught about marriage. Number 2, you're not taught about parenting. Number 3, you're not taught about money. So wisdom demands that you as an individual should focus on these 3 subject matter if you want to gain mastery over them.
Yeah, those are the 3. But when you get to money, you divide it also into 3.
Yeah, you need to understand how to make money. You need to understand how to manage money. And you need to understand how to multiply money.
Okay.
Because people make money and they don't know how to manage it. And few know how to multiply it. You need to understand that what you do to make money is not necessarily what you need to do to multiply money. Now, when you look at money...
In other words, 3 different skill sets.
Yeah, 3 different skill sets, absolutely. And when we talk about economy, we have the global economy, we have the national economy, and you have your personal economy. You don't have power over global economy, you don't have power over national economy, but you have power over your personal economy. So it's very important that you pay attention to your money. Where is your money going? You need to understand that money is an idea. An idea executed in the right way brings the money. You need to be able to solve problems. If you want, the more problems you can solve, the bigger the problems you're solving, the more money you make. So which means in every society, the real problem solvers are the real money makers. Money doesn't fall from trees. Money is a reward for meeting a need and creating solutions. So as entrepreneurs, you should come up with innovative ideas that will solve problems, meet needs, change the space. Then you make money.
So in your space, using those three as a guardrails, as it were, how do you apply it? Help us understand.
Okay. So for me, I make money from public speaking. Managing money, I reduce the number of my ATM cards. In fact, I have about 5 accounts. I only have one account that has ATM, and I only have one internet banking account. That's money management, right?
To reduce the temptation.
To reduce the temptation, I don't go on impulse spending. So I don't go to malls unnecessarily.
You don't go to?
I don't go to malls unnecessarily, right? All in the name of window shopping. That's where impulse buying, impulse spending comes about. I've also managing money. I've also learned to live below my income. The moment you are living above your income, you are going to enter money problems. Multiplying money talks about investment. So you need to be able to tie your investment in certain places, and you can't understand investment on your own except you have someone mentoring you, or you have read, or you have lived long enough like we have done at our own stage. But let me tell you the truth, even as a startup, as a youngster, you can invest. If the money looks big, that's why meaningful friendship is important. As friends, you can pull the money together, invest the money. When the investment is matured, you distribute it according to how much everybody put together. So investing is also very important. Investing saves your future.
Are we not at a slight disadvantage in Africa, given the rate at which the African currency is continually being devalued? And is there anything that can be done about that? I know you are not an economist, but maybe you have some thoughts.
So my major thought, why is African economy devalued? Most African countries are import dependent. We don't produce. So this is a wake-up call for Africa. We have all the resources across all the countries in Africa to be self-sufficient, that we don't need to import anything. So if we can improve our manufacturing powers, people will come to us and buy, and they will buy in foreign currency, and our local currency will be strong. But majorly, so any country that
so you're saying that this devaluation is a result of us being just consumers, not
part
producers.
of it, that most nations in Africa are consumer based. Yes. So for me, like you rightly said, I'm not an economist, but according to my small knowledge of this subject matter, if every producing nation, and also government should come up with policies around their monetary, come up with strong monetary policies for their country, because what you call yourself is what you fix, is what people will call you.
Okay. Somebody may be watching and say, hey, there's a space I want to get to. There's Mula there. What's your advice to somebody who's maybe contemplating becoming a coach, maybe contemplating becoming a peak performance coach as well? Would you say to them they should plunge into it? And
so for me, what I'm going to say is not just coaching. Anything you want to do it without doubt. Believe in yourself. It's not going to be very beautiful at the initial stage. It's not going to be very easy at the initial stage. But if you're consistent with it, you'll break through, and people will respect you.
Absolutely. Now, as we wrap up our discussion, I'm looking at you as a brand. I get the sense that you see yourself as a brand distinct from your company or from your business.
Absolutely.
In other words, you are inextricably intertwined. Is that by design?
It's by design.
Tell me more.
Because see, if you want to make money, you need to separate your personal brand from your corporate brand. When the two are mixed, then you can't easily. I make money as Dr. Shogo. I have a company registered that is Dr. Shogo Consulting. So I know the money that is for Dr. Shogo Consulting. I know the money that is for Dr. Shogo for my personal brand. So it's very important as business owners. But there are people that are not interested in also having a personal brand, then it's fine for them to make money from just one source.
Yeah.
But you see, the aim of every businessman is to increase their profit share, their market share. So separate money for, that's why you see a business, they have subsidiaries.
Yes, yes.
Doing different things, but same mother company.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I understand. Now, what is if you were to grab your crystal ball and look into the future, what do we see 2-3 decades down the line for both the Dr. Shogo brand and for the consultancy?
Okay, so I won't want to talk about myself. I want to talk about Botswana and probably some other African countries I've been. This is my second time in Botswana, and trust me, I've seen lots of opportunities that if harnessed, if acted upon, and the truth is, no government can satisfy citizens. Just the way no human being can satisfy any human being. You will still find something.
Yeah.
You will still find something to complain about. The government is really trying, has really tried for Botswana people. I say it without sense of flattery. If you think I'm flattering, go to other countries, then you understand what I'm talking about. And some people have taken advantage of that opportunity. I'm hoping and praying that more people will take advantage of the opportunity, that in the next 20 years is even far, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, Botswana will become the place to be. I went to Royal area. I saw the massive work.
You mean out there in Tlokweng?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the opportunities are there, and there are people that have moved ahead. So what I'm going to advise everyone is, don't wait for the success to be visible. Move before the success is visible. The person that gets the best are the people in the top chain, people that first plunged in. Right.
Okay. You're speaking to some entrepreneurs tonight, and it's a master class. Tell us about these master classes. Normally, how are they structured?
Okay, so the master class, it's in fact tonight, because I don't have much time, it was impromptu, it was a brainwave I had, and a big shout out to Stanbic Bank for giving me that facility. Right. So it's a mini master class. Let's call it mini master class. I'm going to teach on the concept of advance. Everybody, you want to advance in your career, you want to advance in your business, you want to advance in your family. Advance cuts across every area of life. You want to advance in your health. And you see some of these principles cuts across each other.
Yeah.
So I'll be talking basically to business owners and career people.
So you have a blueprint?
Yes. Yes, I have a blueprint, and we need to look at why people are not even advancing. So it comes with different twists. I'm going to have the presentation, then I'll leave room for question and answers, and we are done.
Wow, that's great. I'm looking forward to it tonight, and hopefully it will be televised and recorded and available.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is a part of the show when you get to ask me a question if you have one.
Okay, so I have one question for you.
Yeah.
I love the facility. I've seen what you've achieved, plus the ones I'm not seeing. I want to ask, what was the turning moment in your life? What was your big break?
Actually, it was a combination of factors. There was a negative
occurrence.
Negative impulse and a positive one. The negative one, and I talk about in the book, is when I had the risk of losing my profession as a lawyer, because I explained that something was concocted against me. There was an issue of being stabbed on the back, and an issue of being betrayed. But that forced me to go and fight in the courts. But I realized that I may lose my profession as a lawyer. So I then pivoted into real estate and focused on real estate. And the real estate did so well that it eclipsed, overtook the law. So that was one negative impulse. But on the positive side, around the same time when the problem started, I got into personal development, very, very aggressive. Kiyosaki's, Napoleon Hill, you name them, and I know them all by heart. Jim Rohn, and George Clason. There's so many of them. I read all these books. Not only did I read them, I internalized them. I actually, absorbed the information. And once you've absorbed the information, you have no choice but to apply it.
Absolutely.
So that's when I can actually draw it in a graph. And normally I judge my progress based on the number of units acquired. When I read this particular book, so many units. I read so many. This year I was doing so much reading, attending seminars, attending conferences, so many units and things like that. So to answer your question, yes, those are the two turning points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you pivoted into real estate, was it an advice from a mentor, a friend, or you just looked at the space and
it's funny you should ask that, and I don't want to spoil it for people who may. The book is here, guys. Only $3.99. You get it for yourselves. But in the book,
this is the book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the book,
I love the cover.
Yeah, because we just launched it recently.
Oh, really? Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you. So
I love the cover page.
Yeah.
Gangster.
Thanks.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's beautiful.
In the book, I mentioned the influence of 3 major mentors who were all involved in real estate, 2 of whom happened to be my clients, and how they impacted them as I did their work as a lawyer. That's when things started changing when I was in my early 30s. Yeah. All right. Now it's time to leave the viewer there with one final compelling message as we wrap up. I hope I've answered your questions.
Perfectly.
Okay.
Perfectly.
As we wrap up, please just.
All right. As we wrap up this particular episode, I want to tell you that if you approach your life, your business casually, you're going to end up as a casualty. So whatever your hands finds to do, do it with all your might. Go the mile. God bless you. Cheers.
I like that. Nobody wants to be a casualty.
Nobody wants to be a casualty.
Yeah. Thank you very much. But before we part, can you give them all your contacts wherever they can?
All right, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at Dr Shogo, DRSHOGO. My ex, which was formerly known as Twitter, is at Dr Shogo. My Facebook is at Dr Shogo. I have a community with over 8,000 people on Facebook. It is called Class of Dr Shogo. It's a group. I teach there for free, no hidden charges. Class of Dr Shogo. You can request to join, and an admin will accept you. On LinkedIn at Dr Shogo. I have a WhatsApp community where I teach for free for Botswana people.
Wow.
That group is over 1 year. Mm-hmm. I teach for free. So if you're interested in joining, you can just chat me on my WhatsApp number +234 80 77 55 22220. All right. I'm sure it will roll on the screen. So please just chat. Someone will send a link to you and you join. I teach there for free, no hidden charges as well. Thank you once again for having me.
Let me thank you for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you, sir.
Let me talk to the viewer. Please do us the favor of just striking that subscribe button. I recently found out that only 40% of you viewers, that could be you as well, regular viewers watch without hitting the subscribe button. So please, I beg of you, strike that button. Thank you so much.
And also
Bye-bye.
share this particular episode. Share this particular episode if you were blessed.
Yeah.
Please share.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you.